Sciences HKAES International Bay Area Summit 2023. May I invite Engineer Dr. Otto Poon, immediate past President of HKAES and Chairman of ATAL Engineering Group, to deliver the welcome speech. Dr. Poon, please.
The Honorable John Lee, Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Administrative Region. The former Chief Executive, Mr. C.Y. Leung, Vice Chairman, CPPCC National Committee. Ms. Liu Sining, Liaison Office of the Central Government in Hong Kong. Professor J.G. Tang, President of Hong Kong Academy of Engineering Sciences, and Professor Li Xiaohong, President of China's Academy of Engineering. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to wish our Chief Executive for giving us the opening remarks online, and Mr. C.Y. Leung, Professor Liu Xiaohong, and Ms. Lu Sanning for gracing the event with their presence. I would also like to extend my warmest welcome to all the speakers, panel chairs, delegates to this first International Bay Area Summit so soon after the travel restrictions are lifted. For the overseas delegates and our new friends from the mainland, I would briefly say that in the 1960s, Hong Kong was considered as one of the Asian dragons, with manufacturing accounting for 30% of the GDP. As of 2022, manufacturing contributes to only about 1% of its GDP. I can assure you that the situation is not doom and gloom. And the business people in Hong Kong are as enterprising as ever, because most of the manufacturing have moved over to the Bay Area in Guangdong and prosper. It is a successful story of combining Hong Kong's financial and business strength with the land, manpower, and production capacity of its neighbors, creating wealth for their people and businesses. It is truly a formula of 1 + 1 is greater than 2. These set the scene for integration of the economies in southern China. A few years ago, the government of China had designated Guangdong, Macau, Hong Kong, and 8 neighboring municipalities in the southern China as the Great Bay Area, GBA in short. With the landmass of 56,000 square kilometers and a population of over 86 million, the combined economy of which is similar to that of a country in Europe. GBA offers a unique opportunity for people from different parts of the world to participate in the peaceful development of culture, education, professional practice, and economy. It has 3 boundaries: cultures, languages, legal systems, standards, and currencies. It is truly an example of how differences are overcome and institution and business coexist in harmony. Hong Kong has the world's leading universities and R&D facilities, and is an important service and financial center. While Guangdong has its edge in supply chain, and Macau in the leisure and tourism. Comparing with the other three important Bay Areas of New York, mainly in service, finance, and trade, California in IT and high technology, and Tokyo in engineering and manufacturing, the GBA could be considered as having the successful elements of the other three counterparts. GBA trades seamlessly with the mainland and serves a global market effectively. It plays an important role in mainland China's dual circulation strategy, offering equal opportunities for investment and operations for business people in different fields over the world. The IBA Summit will serve as a platform not only for speakers and delegates to share experience, exchange ideas, and learn from each other, but also to contribute to the goal of peaceful and harmonious economic growth. The IBA Summit is the Academy's first attempt to build a network of professionals, businessmen, and institutions from the Bay Area economies. It is hoped that the momentum will continue so that IBA Summit could become an annual or biennial event to be hosted in rotation in different locations to achieve greater understanding, cross-fertilization of policies, and sustainable development, setting successful examples for international cooperation in and beyond the Bay Areas. GBA presents to all of us for different professions and for different jurisdictions, challenges and opportunities of an international scale. It is an opportunity at the crossroad of globalization and deglobalization that we citizens of the 21st century cannot miss. With this brief note, I welcome you once again to the summit and hope all of you will take part in it and enjoy the event as much as the Hong Kong Academy of Engineering Science takes pride in hosting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Poon. May I invite the Honorable John Casey Lee, the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, to deliver the opening remarks. The remarks will be conducted via a video. The Chief Executive, please.
The Honorable Vice Chairman C.Y. Leung, Professor Li Xiaohong, Deputy Director Lu Xinling, Professor Teng Jingguang, Engineer Dr. Otto Poon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to address the International Bay Area Summit 2023, organized by the Hong Kong Academy of Engineering Sciences. Earlier this month, we launched the Hello Hong Kong campaign to tell the world that Hong Kong is now seamlessly connected to the mainland of China and the whole world. I'm therefore pleased to note that this summit gathers a host of distinguished speakers from around the world to our center stage. Under the one country, two systems principle, Hong Kong enjoys the unparalleled advantage of having the strong support of national strategies while maintaining international connectivity. The Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macau Greater Bay Area development is a key national strategy planned by President Xi Jinping. With our great positioning in the Greater Bay Area, Hong Kong's role as a key link between our country and the world is elevated to a new height. The GBA is a cluster city development that brings together Hong Kong, Macau, and 9 cities in the province of Guangdong. It has a combined population of over 86 million people and a GDP of over 1.9 trillion US dollars in 2021. The development deepens cooperation amongst Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau, and leverages the complementary advantages of the 3 places to promote regional economic development. With the support of the National 14th Five-Year Plan, Hong Kong is determined to develop into an international innovation and technology center. This is set to open new doors for Hong Kong to synergize with other GBA cities and the whole wide world. We are developing in full steam a new international INT city, straddling the boundary between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. That is the Northern Metropolis. It is linked with Shenzhen and will drive the entire Greater Bay Area's rise as an INT powerhouse. The Northern Metropolis will take up an area about 1/3 the size of Hong Kong. It will not only provide much needed land for the advancement of innovation and technology, but also create a platform that pulls together local talents and experts from other GBA cities and overseas. To create a development of this scale takes good engineering. To this end, we have been delivering world-class infrastructure and urban development to support social and economic development and enhance the long-term competitiveness of Hong Kong. To meet the strong construction output, we will uplift our overall productivity and sustainability by adopting high productivity construction methods such as modular integrated construction, or MIC. For that, we have established a steering committee to strengthen the MIC supply chain and to foster collaboration with the strong manufacturing bases in the GBA. My thanks to the Hong Kong Academy of Engineering Sciences for organizing this dynamic and rewarding summit. I'm certain that you will all enjoy the invaluable opportunity to share insights on Bay Area development from around the world. On that note, I wish this summit a great success and wish you all the best of business and health. Thank you.
Thank you, the Chief Executive. May I invite Professor Zhang Guangjun, Vice Minister, Ministry of Science and Technology of the People's Republic of China, to deliver the opening remarks. The remarks will be conducted via video. Professor Zhang, please.
尊敬的李家超行政长官、梁振英副主席、李小宏院长、卢新宁副主任、潘乐涛博士、滕锦光院长，尊敬的各位科技界同仁、女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家上午好！很高兴以视频方式出席2023年度国际湾区高峰论坛。在此，我仅代表中国科技部对论坛的召开表示热烈祝贺，向长期以来支持粤港澳大湾区国际科技创新中心建设，支持内地与香港科技创新合作的各位同仁表示衷心的感谢。建设粤港澳大湾区是习近平主席亲自谋划、亲自部署、亲自推动的国家战略，是新时代推动形成全面开放新格局的新举措，也是推动“一国两制”事业发展的新实践。中国共产党第20次全国代表大会明确指出，推进粤港澳大湾区建设，支持香港、澳门更好融入国家发展大局。香港是粤港澳大湾区的重要一极，是全球创新要素的聚集地和全球创新网络的枢纽，研发资源雄厚，创新动力强劲，区位优势明显。 2022年6月30日至7月1日，习近平主席在视察香港期间，对香港创科发展提出殷切希望，重申中央对香港建设国际创新科技中心的支持，并指出中央全力支持香港抓住国家发展带来的历史机遇，主动对接粤港澳大湾区建设等国家战略，希望香港发挥自身优势，汇集全球创新资源，与粤港澳大湾区内地城市强化产学研创新协同，着力建设全球科技创新高地。在习近平主席的关心指导下，粤港澳大湾区国际科技创新中心建设取得显著成效。深圳、香港、广州创新集群全球创新指数连续多年居全球第2，一系列重大科技基础设施和重大创新合作平台加快落地，粤港澳大湾区国家技术创新中心以及各类新型研发机构快速发展。科技部会同相关部门持续推进科研资金和人类遗传资源过境，不断扩大国家科技计划对港澳开放，大力支持港澳建设国家重大研发基地和创新平台，科研仪器进口免税政策惠及港澳高校在内地的研发机构。香港拥有雄厚的科技基础和众多爱国爱港的高素质科技人才，是国家实施创新驱动发展战略、建设创新型国家的一支重要力量。过去5年，香港特区政府投入超过1500亿港元支持创科发展。2022年12月，香港特区政府发布了香港创新科技发展蓝图，提出4大方向、8大政策，为未来5至10年的香港创科发展制定了系统的战略规划和清晰的发展路径。这让我们真切感受到香港特区政府对发展创科的高度重视和务实行动。发展创新科技已成为香港社会各界的普遍共识。回望征途千山远，翘首前路万木春。站在新的历史起点上，科技部将一如既往与香港特区政府密切合作，以高质量建设粤港澳大湾区为主线，以支持香港建设国际创新科技中心为主题，扎实推进两地科技创新合作，合力推动科技创新赋能香港经济社会发展，共同为实现中华民族伟大复兴贡献更大的力量。最后，预祝2023年度国际湾区高峰论坛取得圆满成功，祝各位身体健康，生活愉快，谢谢大家。
Thank you, Professor Zhang. May I invite Ms. Lu Xinling, Deputy Director, the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in the Hong Kong SAR, to deliver the opening remarks. Ms. Lu, please.
"尊敬的梁振英副主席，尊敬的李家超行政长官、李小宏院长、张广军副部长、潘乐陶院长、滕景光校长，各位嘉宾、各位朋友，上午好！很高兴出席2023年度国际湾区高峰论坛。我谨代表中央政府驻港联络办，向此次论坛的成功举办表示衷心的祝贺，向香港工程科学院各位专家、本次论坛筹委会的各位委员为此所付出的辛勤工作表示由衷的敬意。推进粤港澳大湾区建设是习近平主席亲自谋划、亲自部署、亲自推动的重大国家战略。新年以来，粤港澳大湾区的热点不断，香港启动“你好，香港”大型宣传活动， 大步迎来了与世界和内地的全面联通。广东省新春第一会就提出再造一个新广东，吹响了高质量发展的号角。香港工程科学院也抢抓时机，在开年之际聚焦湾区和科创这一新鲜滚烫的主题，汇聚各路精英，分享真知灼见，可谓恰逢其时，恰逢其事。特别是中国工程院李小宏院长专程来港参加，足以可见对大湾区发展的重视。借此机会，我与大家分享3点体会：一、粤港澳大湾区应当成为新时代高质量发展的典范。实现高质量发展是实现中国式现代化、完成2个百年奋斗目标的必由之路。粤港澳大湾区在国家的经济版图中占据极其重要的位置。2022年，湾区内地9市的 GDP 加上香港、澳门达到了12.9万亿，已不到全国0.6%的土地面积，创造了全国11%的 GDP， 超过了韩国、俄罗斯等国家。主要的社会经济指标已经接近了纽约、东京、旧金山等世界级湾区，在科技创新、出口、现代产业体系等许多方面，也都处于全国的领先地位。湾区内1个国家、2种制度、3个关税区、3种货币是前所未有的探索，更是大湾区未来发展的最大的优势。而要建设富有活力和国际竞争力的一流湾区和世界级城市群这个目标，既是“一国两制”实践的重大成果，也是推进中国式现代化的生动写照。粤港澳大湾区完全应该当仁不让地承担起引领中国新时代高质量发展的重要使命，在国家发展战略中努力实现高质量发展的持续进步和突破。我认为至少可以从3个方面拿出更大的魄力：一是进一步发挥香港作为高度国际化自由经济体的经济制度优势，以及大湾区内地城市产业结构多元的优势，建立更加完备的现代产业体系；二是进一步提升基础设施的硬联通，打通有形的空间，提振人流、物流的活力；三是进一步提升规则和机制的软联通，加速湾区内资金、信息、技术等要素的高速流动。对于这一点，梁主席有很多他特别好的观察和见解，我觉得都特别重要。最终呢，我们要打造易居、易业、易游的湾区的这个优质生活圈，让湾区能够更好的、真正的连起来、动起来、活起来。第二是粤港澳大湾区应当成为新时代高水平开放的典范。当前世界100年未有之大变局在加速演进，世纪疫情也给全球经济带来了很多挑战。中国向全球释放了共享中国大市场的积极信号，期望推动更大范围、更宽领域、更高层次的对外开放。作为我国开放程度最高、经济活力最强的区域之一，粤港澳大湾区的区位优势非常突出，天然具有开放的基因，完全有基础、有能力顺应全球发展潮流，打造国际一流湾区，在日益激烈的国际竞争中赢得一席之地。在国家双循环新发展格局下，粤港澳大湾区要发挥促进内外双循环的重要枢纽作用，我以为关键就在于更高水平的开放，由推动要素流量型的开放转向规则、规制、管理、标准等制度型的开放。香港作为国际化大都市，在国家的40多年改革开放进程中，发挥了连接内地和世界各地的重要桥梁和窗口作用，为国家的经济腾飞奇迹做出了不可替代的贡献。至今仍然是全球最大的离岸人民币业务中心，内地的1/3的对内和对外的直接投资，以及大部分的金融投资都是通过香港进行的。展望未来，继续发挥背靠祖国、联通世界的优势，香港完全可以携手湾区内的其他城市和澳门，创造 国家新一轮高水平开放格局中的新范式。第三，粤港澳大湾区应当成为科技协同创新的典范。习近平主席在20大报告中明确地指出，扩大国际科技交流合作，加强国际化科研环境建设，形成具有全球竞争力的开放创新生态。我们这个粤港澳大湾区的发展规划纲要更是明确地赋予了湾区建设国际科创中心的这个重任。湾区的科技创新要素高度聚集，科技研发转化能力也非常突出，完全有条件成为全球新一轮科技创新发展的重要参与者。香港作为高度国际化的自由经济体，拥有多所全球一流的高校和一大批尖端的科技人才，在开展国际科技交流、打造开放创新科技生态方面有着独特的优势。去年香港回归25周年，习近平主席专程考察香港科学园并发表重要讲话，勉励香港发挥自身优势，与粤港澳大湾区的内地城市珠联璧合，着力建设全球科技创新高地。前不久，特区政府也发布了香港创新科技发展蓝图，这标志着香港创科中心的建设已经在提速，也意味着香港创科即将步入服务香港、贡献国家的快车道。我们完全有理由相信，在国家的大力支持下，粤港澳大湾区的科技创新能够成为引领国家高质量发展和高水平开放的新引擎。各位专家、各位朋友，进入21世纪，全球科技创新进入了空前密集的活跃期，新一轮科技革命和产业革命正在重塑全球的经济结构和社会生活。科学技术从来没有像今天这样深刻地影响着人类的前途和命运。最近全世界都在关注 ChatGPT 的横空出世，不少人都称之为是一场新的技术革命，甚至认为它的影响不亚于 PC 和互联网的出现。这也使得我们今天论坛的主题显得格外重要，分外及时。面对新一轮技术革命的浪潮，中国该如何发力？大湾区应当怎样作为？这是我们每个人都应当思考的。在世界夜景的卫星云图上，从广州到深圳，再延伸到香港、澳门，璀璨的灯火已经连成一片。这片曾经见证国家民族百年沉浮的土地，正在以新的开拓、新的激情，谱写中国式现代化的崭新篇章。所当成者是也，不可失者时也。衷心期望各位朋友积极发挥作用，共同为高水平的粤港澳大湾区建设做出新贡献。预祝本次论坛取得圆满成功，祝愿各位专家和朋友身体健康，工作顺利，阖家幸福。谢谢大家。
Thank you, Ms. Liu. May I invite the Honorable C.Y. Leung, Vice Chairman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference and former Chief Executive of the Hong Kong SAR, to deliver the summit speech. Mr. Leung, please.
President Teng Jinguang, President Li Xiaohong, Madame Lu Xingling, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for inviting me to speak at this summit. My apologies for having to slip away immediately after this address so that I could take a 10 o'clock bus for Nansha. Yes, Nansha again in 2 weeks. I'm leading a delegation of top media, Hong Kong media personnel to Nansha. 2 weeks ago, I led an 80-member delegation to visit Nansha for 2 days. 2 days for just one of the districts of Guangzhou, which is one of the 9 cities in the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area. GBA were not enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first message I bring you today is that the GBA is huge. The total population of the 9 Guangdong cities is 10 times that of Hong Kong. Their total land mass, 50 times that of Hong Kong, and their total GDP, 4.4 times that of Hong Kong, so it's huge. The 9 Guangdong cities are also very diverse in many ways, each offering Hong Kong its own special prospects. So the second message I offer you today is in the form of question. How Hong Kong, as a relatively small community and economy, could effectively work with the whole of the GBA and gainfully, for both Guangdong and Hong Kong, service this huge and diverse neighborhood. The answer to this question is that we need to strategize. My third message is this. In our strategy, we need to prioritize. We need to prioritize geography and sector. Hong Kong cannot cover all 9 cities fully and equally in one go. We should not scatter, as we do not want to be thin on the ground. We are good, but we are not omnipotent. Our energy and resources are finite. We should not try to be all things to all men. In one of the 9 cities, and for the 9 cities, at the initial stages, we need to establish a Hong Kong bridgehead, a forward base, and then a cluster for Hong Kong to acclimatize, to sharpen our skills, to build networks, and grow a critical mass from which we can, in due course, more fully engage all the Guangdong GBA cities. 集中力量办大事 would be one way to describe this strategy. Fourthly, we also need to monitor the various impacts on Hong Kong for being part of and for entering and engaging a huge, fast-growing, and fast-opening up neighborhood. Our ocean park started to struggle when a new competitor, Chimelong Hengqin Water Park, Changlong Shuisang Leyuan, opened its doors a few years ago. The difficulties the ocean park in Hong Kong faced had little to do with the change of leadership and everything to do with the changing competitive environment in which a very formidable competitor arrived on the scene. Chimelong offers not only good experience, but also good value for money. It is more accessible to mainland visitors compared to our ocean park. This is just one example to tell us that we need to look both ways, at competition as well as prospects. Competition exists among the Guangdong cities too. We should welcome competition because it keeps us on our toes. I have visited all the 9 cities in Guangdong in the GBA in the past 5 years, each more than once and some dozens of times. During the pandemic, I more than fully used the privilege of exemption from quarantine. I probably have done more mainland trips than all others in Hong Kong in the public sector put together. I was a two-way messenger to foster better mutual understanding of the needs and capabilities of both Hong Kong and the Guangdong cities. I work on the relative advantage on both sides so that when integration between Hong Kong and Guangzhou, the Guangdong cities happen, it will be mutually beneficial and will comply with the principle of one country, two systems, Hong Kong people ruling Hong Kong with a high degree of autonomy. Back to the Nansha trip 2 weeks ago, the captains of Hong Kong industries in the 80-strong delegation were able to see for themselves the latest developments in this free trade zone of national status. They were more than impressed. The high-speed train took us there from West Kowloon in 55 minutes with stops in between. Without the stops, it would have been 35 minutes. And of course, we had the benefit of co-location inspection in West Kowloon, and no immigration and customs inspection were needed at the Nansha Ching Seng station. So the fifth point I want to make is that we all need to pack up and go and see for ourselves. Before I carry on, I believe I should make a declaration of interest, just in case you're curious about my motives of working on the GBA. I do not have any personal interest anywhere in the GBA Guangdong cities. Indeed, I do not own, on purpose, any investment in any form in the mainland of China. No share in any company, no real estate, no directorship of any profit-seeking concerns. My only connection is my Chinese citizenship and my loyalty and service to the country as one amongst the 1.4 billion people. Among the 9 cities in the last 5 years, I focused on the 3 major platforms of Guangdong Hong Kong cooperation, namely Qianhai in Shenzhen, Hengqin in Zhuhai, and Nansha in Guangzhou. Again, as I have said before, each has its attractions. In early 2021, when I was asked by the Guangzhou municipal government to recommend Hong Kong experts for them to consult on various matters, I proposed that we set up a consultative committee to be modeled on the many such G2B committees of the Hong Kong SAR government. 22 months ago, the Consultative Committee on Guangdong-Hong Kong Cooperation was founded in Nansha, the first such G2B committee in the mainland of China. And then it was followed by Hainan, Fujian, Heilongjiang, etc. It had, when it started, 9 subgroups, including innovation and technology, which is headed by Mr. Sunny Chai, chairman of our science park. The number of subgroups has since grown to 14, a result of the early accomplishments of the committee. It is important to note that the committee fosters not only cooperation between Hong Kong and Nansha, but between Hong Kong and the whole of the Guangdong province, using Nansha as a platform. The committee has a 10,000 square foot, fully equipped service center in Nansha, which services the needs of 30 Hong Kong member bodies who are major Hong Kong chambers of commerce, professional bodies, and other non-government bodies. This is the first ever cluster of Hong Kong chambers and associations in the mainland, and this cluster is very sizable. It already has certain bridgehead and forward-based capabilities and is creating synergies amongst these member bodies and between these Hong Kong bodies and Nansha and through Nansha with the whole of Guangdong. The use of the premises and the manpower there are for free. Some of these members have already obtained representative status in Guangzhou, opened bank accounts, and employed staff. The application process takes less than a month. The Hong Kong Academy of Engineering Sciences is welcome to join. The Secretariat of the Greater Bay Area Science Forum, 大湾区科学论坛, is now a member. In Guangdong, Hong Kong brings to the table the capabilities as a financial, trade, innovation and technology and professional services center, which are our obvious strengths. More significantly, Hong Kong brings the international dimension, international connection with the rest of the world to Guangdong. In my words, Hong Kong is the super connector. It was no surprise that when the central government unveiled on 14th June last year the 26-point Nansha Master Plan on cooperation between Guangdong and Hong Kong, the key words in this Nansha Plan in the title are world-facing, 面向世界, highlighting again the international super connector role of Hong Kong. The Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area is an international Bay Area. Nansha is the southernmost and hence the district of Guangzhou City that is closest to Hong Kong. Geographically, it is the center of all the cities in the GBA. With high-speed rail access, Nansha is within the daily commute radius of Hong Kong. New mega infrastructure projects such as the 24-kilometer-long Shenzhen-Zhongshan Bridge Link will further enhance accessibility. This bridge will be open to traffic next year. With a landmass of 803 square kilometers, which is about 70% of the size of Hong Kong, Nansha already has a diverse economy. The Toyota joint venture plant in Nansha produced 800,000 cars last year, including hydrogen-powered cars for the market. The Nansha container terminal now has a bigger container throughput than Hong Kong. It also has the third largest shipbuilding base in China. The Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Guangzhou, which has a site area twice that of Hong Kong UST in Clearwater Bay, was opened on 1st September last year. On the same day, and just 1.7 kilometers away, the non-profit Minchin's Hong Kong School, which I founded, was also opened with some 500 grade 1 to grade 10 non-mainland students whom were selected from 4,000 applicants. The school has 1,200 boarding places where all secondary students are required to board. Application for the school to run also a kindergarten is with the Nansha government. So that probably shows you the kind of mega trend that we are in. This school is part of the 1 square kilometer Hong Kong-style international district that was planned pro bono by the planning subgroup of the Consultative Committee led by Mr. K.K. Ling, who was our Director of Planning of the Hong Kong ACR government. Adjoining this district and just outside the Qincheng high-speed train station is the massive multi-use transport-oriented development project of Sanukay Properties. Corporate profit tax in Nansha is levied at a reduced rate of 15% for enterprises in industries encouraged in the pioneering zones. Personal income tax rates for Hong Kong residents working in Nansha will not exceed that of Hong Kong and Macau. This incentive is available also to non-permanent residents of non-Chinese nationalities from Hong Kong. Again, highlighting the world-facing mission of Nansha, attracting foreign talents from foreign enterprises based in Hong Kong. In terms of location, accessibility, tax concessions for both Chinese and non-Chinese residents of Hong Kong, human resource mobility, and living environment, Nansha has become the Hong Kong bridgehead and forward base in Guangdong. It is now growing its critical mass. Ladies and gentlemen, cooperation between Hong Kong and the GBA Guangdong cities must include science and technology. So let me wrap up by giving you some details of the Greater Bay Area Science Forum, 大湾区科学论坛, which I mentioned earlier. The forum was initiated by the Alliance of International Science Organization in the Belt and Road region, ANSO, and is headquartered in the GBA for connection to the world. Mr. Bai Chunli, former president of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, is a chairman of the forum. Mr. Bai is joined by Mr. Wang Gang, former minister of the Ministry of Science, and myself as the three chairmen of the Strategic Advisory Committee. At the inaugural forum in 2021, President Xi Jinping, in his congratulatory letter, pointed out that strategically, I quote, strategically positioned as an international innovation hub for science and technology, the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area should build itself into a world center for scientific and technological innovation and foster the development of emerging industries. The groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the impressive and massive headquarters building of the forum took place in September last year. The GBA Science Forum is a major initiative of national significance. Now that we are rid of pandemic-related restrictions, a series of activities will be launched by the forum this year. I would be more than happy to connect the Hong Kong Academy of Engineering Sciences to the forum. Ladies and gentlemen, if the formation of the GBA Science Forum is news to this audience, that would confirm the need to make my last point to the summit. There are too many don't knows, 不知道, between Hong Kong and the GBA Guangdong cities. And more often than not, Guangdong doesn't know that we don't know. 我们不知道，你不知道. The reverse is also true. Hong Kong doesn't know that Guangdong doesn't know what we can do. We need to work harder. Perhaps the next Hong Kong AES summit should be held on the other side of the Shenzhen River. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. Please remain on stage for a group photo. May I invite the following VIPs to proceed to the stage for the group photo. First, may I have Professor Li Xiaohong, President of Chinese Academy of Engineering. Ms. Lu Xingning, Deputy Director of the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in Hong Kong SAR. Engineer Dr. Otto Poon, immediate past President of HKAES and Chairman of ATAL Engineering Group. And Engineer Professor Teng Jingguang, President of HKAES and President of the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. Thank you. Please remain on stage for the second photo. May I invite the following guests to join for a group photo. First, may I have 中国工程院国际合作局港澳台办公室田崎局长。中联办教育科技部叶水球副部长。中国工程院办公厅院长办公室正处长级秘书江树凯处长。Engineer Professor Chen Qingchen, Senior Advisor of HKAES. 中国工程院国际合作局港澳台办公室3级调研员邓二虎先生。Engineer James Chu, Fellow of HKAES. Engineer Professor Ching Pat Chong, past president of HKAES. Engineer Edmund Leung, council member of HKAES. Professor Lionel Ni, fellow of HKAES. Engineer Dr. Andrew Chan, past president of HKAES. Engineer Professor Christopher Chow, honorary secretary of HKAES. Dr. Choi Yu-lek, past president of HKAES. Engineer Dr. C.K. Chow, fellow of HKAES. Professor Guo Yike, fellow of HKAES. Engineer Professor Charles Ng, Vice President of HKAES. Engineer Professor Paul Poon, Honorary Treasurer of HKAES. Engineer Professor Kwok Hoi Singh, Vice President of HKAES. Engineer Professor Alfonso An, Senior Vice President of HKAES. Engineer Dr. Humphrey Leung, Council Member of HKAES. Engineer Professor Liu Jian, Fellow of HKAES. Professor Martin Wong, Fellow of HKAES. Engineer Professor Wallace Leung, Council Member of HKAES. Engineer Professor Yong Kai Leung, Fellow of HKAES. Professor Chen Qin Yan, Fellow of HKAES. Engineer Professor Li Yuguo, Fellow of HKAES. Professor Cao Jiannong, Fellow of HKAES. And Mr. Ronald James Blake, Fellow of HKAES. May all the guests on stage please take a look at the photographer. May I also invite Engineer Professor Victor Lee, Fellow of HKAES, to come on stage as well. Thank you. May the Honorable C.Y. Leung, Professor Lee, Ms. Lu, Dr. Poon, and Professor Tang please remain on stage. May I invite all our other guests on stage to return to their seats. Next, we will invite the moderators and speakers to proceed to the stage for a group photo. May I first invite Professor Chen Shiyi, President of Eastern Institute for Advanced Study. Professor Song Ronghua, Rector of University of Macau. Professor David Caldwell, Pro Vice Chancellor, Strategy and Planning, University of Cambridge. Professor Li Zexiang, Professor of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, founder of Export Park and founder of Shenzhen InnoX Academy. Mr. Andy Wong, Head of Innovation and Technology of Invest Hong Kong. Dr. Fumio Arakawa, Executive Senior Engineer of Global Engineering Institute. Mr. Amir Lati, Consulate General of Israel in Hong Kong. Mr. Colin Ng, Founder and Chief Executive Officer, Greater Bay Biotechnology Limited. Professor Zhang Dongxiao, Executive Vice President and Provost of Eastern Institute for Advanced Study. Ms. Ying Leung, Senior Sales Manager of Hi Robotics Hong Kong Limited. Professor Liu Yunhui, Co-founder and Chairman of VisionNav Robotics Limited. And Professor Wong Yokshan, Chairman of Research Grants Council of Hong Kong and Emeritus President of Hong Kong Metropolitan University. May all the guests on stage please take a look at the photographer for a group photo. Thank you, everyone. May I invite all VIPs on stage to resume your seats off stage. Thank you. This concludes the opening section. We will now have a break. The next section is the opening plenary keynote lecture by Professor Li Xiaohong, which will begin at 10:20. Despite the government has recently relaxed the social distancing rules, providing coffee breaks during a conference is still restricted. Grateful for your understanding.